Hi, my name is Andrew and I'm an artificial intelligence. In this video I will showcase the Dimension Pricing plugin. After the plugin installation, a menu item will appear under Plugin, called Dimension Pricing. Clicking the menu item, we are met with the Settings tab of the plugin. Standard Dimension Source Type option allows you to use standard dimensions like width, height and length from the product details. If Use Only Product Dimensions is set, only the values of the main dimensions, defined in Admin, Edit Product Info, are used. If Use Only Custom Dimensions is set, in order for everything to work, it is necessary to define the width, height and length dimensions as custom dimensions and assign specific values to each product. If Use First Product Dimensions then Custom Dimensions is set, the plugin will use first the product dimensions and if the value is 0, it will use the custom one. The option, Use First Custom Dimensions then Product Dimensions, uses the same logic but with the custom dimensions first. The Use Weight Unit Limits for Shipping Calculation option allows to consider weight when calculating the shipping cost. The Limit Shipping Methods to Configured Ones option limits the customer shipping options. If checked, the customer can only choose one of the shipping options set in the plugin. Otherwise, the customer will be able to choose any existing shipping options even if they're not configured here. Include Weight of Free Shipping Products specifies whether to include the weight of free shipping products in the calculation. Under Configuration, Regional Settings, Shipping Rate Computation Methods, we have the Shipping by Dimension and Weight Computation method where we can also set up the plugin. After the plugin installation, a menu option under Catalog will also appear. Clicking Catalog, Dimension Templates, opens the list of dimension templates, which will be explained later. Also, when editing a product, a new tab will appear. Clicking on it, we can set the dimensions for a specific product, also, explained later. In this example we will show area calculation for this product. Under Product Dimensions, we open the list of dimensions. We create a new dimension template and name it Area Calculation. After saving, we can create dimensions. Dimensions are units of measurements used in area, volume formulas. Since area calculation needs only two dimensions, we will create only width and height. Label and help text are values that will be shown under the Dimension tab when editing the product and the Dimension tab on the product page. The system name is the name of the item used in all formulas for calculating dimensions. Min and max values are minimal and maximal allowed values that can be entered when editing the product. The default value is the default value when editing the product. Setting the display on product details on front-end option to true, the dimension will be shown under the Dimension tab on the product detail page. We create the other dimension, height. We enable is unit calculation widget used. We can choose the widget area where the widget will be rendered. Under the dimension formula we define the formula that will be used for calculating the area. The formula is not case sensitive and it can handle spaces. We also use the system name of the dimensions. The dimension ratio is the number by which the value calculated with the dimension formula is divided. The option Dimension Custom Label indicates what custom metric the dimension represents. It is shown on Dimension Entry Control on the widget. Quantity Custom Label indicates what custom metric the quantity uses and is shown on Quantity Entry Control on the widget. We save the changes and proceed to the product edit. After installing the plugin, a new tab under the product edit will appear called Dimensions. We enable the dimension calculation on a product by navigating to the tab and activating the option as Product Template Enabled. A list of templates will appear. Choosing one will display the dimension we have defined before. We now enter the dimension values for the product. Labels and hint are displayed with the values we have set when creating the dimension. We cannot enter values smaller than the min value or bigger than the max value. If the default value was set, it would have been displayed by default. We save the changes and open the product details page. Refreshing the product page, the widget can now be seen. The customer can now easily determine which area, and consequently which quantity, to order. If the field quantity changes, the field area is changed and vice versa. Also, the total price of the ordered products is automatically displayed, below the quantity and area field. Now we will show the addition of the template, dimensions and unit calculation widget. We add a new template and name it, volume calculation. Now we add the dimensions. Instead of standard product dimensions, width, height and length, we will use names, capacity width, capacity height, and capacity length. Because we will later add the dimensions for shipping purposes, it is important that the system name does not have a space in the name, so we separate the words with a underscore. We will show all these dimensions on the Product Details Dimension tab. In the same way, we add the capacity height dimension and the capacity length dimension. We can now edit the settings for the unit calculation widget. We activate the unit calculation widget option. For the dimension formula, we add a formula to calculate the volume. In our case, it is capacity underscore width times capacity underscore height times capacity underscore length. For dimension ratio, we put 1 million, because 1 cubic meter equals 1 million cc. We also want the value to be displayed to 3 decimals, although 1 decimal is sufficient for this item. Finally, we add the dimension and quantity custom labels that we want to display. We save the entered data. To display the unit calculation widget on the product detail, we need to add it to the product and enter specific values for capacity width, capacity height, and capacity length. We enter values 100 by 50 by 100, which multiplied gives 0.5 cubic meters. Let's save the data. Now let's refresh the product detail page, and we can see the unit calculation widget is now applied for this product. In our example, the bag uses less space than its capacity because it's shipped empty and in a package. Therefore, we will add 3 more dimensions for shipping. We call them shipping width, shipping height and shipping length, and set their system names to shipping underscore width, shipping underscore height and shipping underscore length. We can now create a formula for calculating the shipping dimensions. We use formula for one item because in this example we used uncommon names for width, height and length, so we are mapping them. We enter the formulas for the package width, height and length. Since we use only one item, the combined width formula will be only the shipping underscore width value. We do the same for height and length. We need to enter some values for the newly created dimensions. We can see the new dimensions. Since the value was empty before, the dimensions didn't show on the product details page. So the plugin will use different dimensions for capacity calculation and shipping calculation cost. Now, after we enter all dimensions, the customer now can see them in the Dimensions tab. In this example, we have a product that the user orders by entering width and length himself. The system calculates the area size and consequently the quantity. We call this the so-called cut-to-size products because the user needs exactly those dimensions. We create the dimension template and name it. We create 2 dimensions, width and height. When configuring the widget, we check the Is Custom Dimension Value Entry Enabled property. This means that the user can enter dimension values, cut to size products by himself. The formula is standard, width times height, which means that the area, consequently the quantity, will be calculated based on the entered values in this formula. Dimension ratio is the value by which we divide the obtained result of the formula. Our basic measure in the system is centimeters, and we want to get the area in square meters. Since 1 square meter equals 10,000 square centimeters, we put the value 10,000. Now we have to enable the template and enter the standard values of the width and height dimensions for the concrete product, and display default product price. This is very important because based on these fields, the ordered values by the customer are calculated. So the product says that the price is per square meter. That is why we set default values for width, 100 centimeters, as well as for height. 100 times 100 centimeters equals 1 square meter. These values will be displayed by default when the user enters the product details page. We can now refresh the product details page and the widget is displayed. The customer can now insert the desired dimensions. The plugin calculates the area size, the quantity and the total price. Notice if the calculated area is not an integer, the plugin rounds the quantity field to the next integer, since the quantity can only be an integer. We cannot change the quantity in the shopping cart since we cannot change the area anymore. Now we have an example of a irregular shaped object. The product on a shipping pallet can be placed side by side, which can take a lot of space. Or, it can be stacked in a way that it doesn't leave space that can be used for other products. We can see the dimensions set for the product. Here we can see how the products can be placed together. We added dimension A, and combined two products in a way that combined width can be calculated by the formula, A plus width. First we add 171 L-shaped cornerstones to the cart without any custom formula. And we can see the shipping price is €109.80. It is a price for 2 pallets defined in our price list. We can set the custom formula under Catalog, Dimension Templates, L-Shape, Edit. Since the cuboid shown before uses 2 items combined, we set our number of shipping items to 2. We enter the combined width, height and length formulas. The width is calculated as width plus A, height and length are same as with one single item. Now the plugin calculates the price using the formula regarding the number of items used. After refreshing the page, we can see the price dropped to €54.90 since the area of products is smaller. And only one pallet is used for shipping. Here we will show the plugin in action. We have 3 products with set dimensions. After the product is loaded, the plugin will render the calculation widget. It consists of 2 input fields. The left one is the combined area in square meters and the right one the quantity. We can now input the desired area or the quantity. When changed, the other field is updated and the price is calculated. If the inserted area is not supported, since the product has fixed width and height, the plugin will calculate the nearest supported area and change the price and quantity accordingly. The plugin has the ability to display set dimensions under the Dimensions tab. The selected area is displayed in the shopping cart. Next we have an example of a product that has volume calculation. It follows the same rules as the example before, but it has 3 dimensions instead of 2. In this example we have a product that can have custom dimensions. It is an example of a cut-to-size product. We can now enter the desired height and width and the plugin will automatically calculate the size in square meters, as well as the quantity and price. We cannot change the quantity since the desired dimensions were already set. The checkout cart has all the set dimensions displayed as well as the info prompt for changing the quantity. We can now change the quantity of other products that don't have the prompt and the dimension will be updated accordingly. When the order is complete, the calculated dimensions can be seen on the order details as well as the generated PDF. To understand how the shipping types work, we will explain the terminology. A shipping type is the shipping method for a certain carrier. For example, pallet shipping, parcel shipping, container shipping, etc. Shipping units are specific quantities with dimensional and weight restrictions related to the shipping type. In the example of pallet shipping, you can specify the restriction for 1/4 pallet, 1/2 pallet and a full pallet. Shipping unit price is a price of a shipping type and unit for a shipping method. First we need to create a new shipping type. We give it a name and save our changes. Now we can create shipping units. We give them a name and set the dimension restrictions. The ratio of the unit compared to the standard unit. Since we have a 1/4 pallet, our ratio will be 0.25. Half a pallet will have a ratio of 0.5. When we create the shipping type units, we can now add prices. We connect the shipping type unit to a shipping method and set its price. The price will be displayed in checkout when selecting a shipping method. This concludes the showcase of the Dimension Pricing plugin. In the description, you will find a link to the plugin in our marketplace. Thanks for watching. Bye.